we focus on helping you claim what's rightfully yours, your health and your freedom. We explore the three main areas of health: the physical realm, the biochemical realm, and the mental and emotional realm. We also explore all the areas of lifestyle we can find that will help you live more abundantly, regardless of where you're starting. And remember, in life, you'll either make excuses or create results. You choose. I'm your host, Dr. Josh Handt, and I'm glad to be with you here today. Make sure to head on down to the show notes and click on the link to join our tribe of human-powered life heroes, where we'll update you on new shows, events, product launches, and so much more. Now, it's time to enjoy the show. Hey everyone, this is Dr. Josh Handt, and you are listening to the Human Powered Life podcast. This episode is going to be short and sweet. It's a solo one. It's a bit of a monologue, if you will. And I want to share a couple things I've learned along my journey and a couple experiences I've had on my journey. And the journey I'm talking about is my ankle injury. So that was November 5th. I was in the morning time-ish, rolling my right ankle, creating a grade 4 sprain, which is pretty nasty. The colors were pretty impressive, wrapping around my right side, the outside of my right ankle, to my foot, to the inside of my right ankle, the heel, even going up a little bit into the sides of my calf muscle. So I did a good job with this injury, unfortunately. Some have said it may have been easier to break a bone and you would probably be running quicker. And, I may have to agree with this one, but I will also say there are no coincidences in life. The universe is conspiring for us, is conspiring for me. And the injury was a time for me to reflect on my training, my life, all of these things. I kind of step back and now have this 50,000 foot view perspective. And I've said this before, but my knee injury that was just a few months before, a little strain, mild strain, took me out of a 150-mile race. I had to stop at, I think it was mile 63. And, fast forward to the injury, it was the same side, the outside of that. So it was the right knee, and then it was the right ankle. So the signs were all there that, hey, you either have a stability problem, you have a balance issue, you have a strength issue, you have a present time consciousness issue. So there are a bunch of different things that, really have run through my mind in meditation, even on, treadmill runs in the past few weeks, many different things, many different thoughts. And I ultimately realized that, yes, I need to be stronger. Yes, I need to have that present time consciousness, especially when I'm in the woods. So running with headphones or not paying attention to my every step is very important. And, this become a metaphor for everything in my life, paying attention to what I'm actually doing on a very regular basis. And I oftentimes talk to other chiropractors about this, whether it's from the stage where I get to teach other chiropractors and or just in conversation. We talk about present time consciousness with the patient, and I can tell you this, any doctor, anybody that is working on your physical and or mental and or biochemical well-being, you want them there 100%, not 90, not 80, not even 99. You want them there 100% with you because you will get the absolute best outcome that can possibly happen with that doctor. Because when they're 100% there, their intention is there, their focus is there. They're not thinking about, their next mortgage payment or their business's rental payment or am I going to make payroll today? You don't want those types of things into your doctor's head as they're performing a procedure or doing something with you. So as I look at this, for myself in the running world, yeah, it's the same exact freaking thing. If I'm not giving myself 100% present time consciousness, this is ultimately where that injury came from. And yes, I know I mentioned that, I was running in a leaf covered wooded trail covered in rocks as well, or underneath the leaves. the present time consciousness thing would have been move slower, move more cautious, and maybe even wear a high top running shoe if you're going to be running in the fall. Right? That's what present time consciousness may have given me at that moment, and I may not have actually had the injury. But I also could now go back to my previous injury and go, if I just recovered a little bit more, did a little more work and actually dissected my knee injury, which was part of my IT band, which was part of the actual injury that I've had, or the knee, that I've had surgery on. Yes, I would have definitely done a little more prehab before 150 mile run. So now let's fast forward. We are many months out since my injury. My ankle, yes, is still swollen. So my buddy John that mentioned, hey, that last 5% of swelling can take months and months and months. You need to be very proactive. And I have to let John know I have not been 100% proactive. I apologize, not to you, but to me. And I'm working on becoming more proactive in that right now because I want that swelling to go down. I do want to be able to compete as we get into the warmer weather and even into the fall. Even if I get 1 or 2 or 3 ultras in this year, I will be extremely happy that I'm able to do it with a fully healed ankle, not partially healed. So, John, brother, appreciate you and appreciate your heads up and offering help as I've been through this journey. So, as we fast forward, this past Friday, I've been doing some treadmill running. I know I've shared some of that with you. I actually did an outdoor run in New York City on Friday. I had to get into the office. We're doing a couple changes in the office. I had to be there, not necessarily to see patients, but just to organize a couple things. So I said, you know what? It's warmish. I am going to go for an outdoor run. I brought the gear just in case the itch needed to be scratched, and yes, it did. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to run that outside loop of Central Park. It's all street. It's paved. I shouldn't have any injuries or anything, uncertainties as far as the road goes. Just have to pay attention. So I go ahead and I start my run. It's beautiful outside. And, right as I get started, there's a woman probably 50 to 100 feet, maybe a little bit more ahead of me, who's got a good pace. And I'm already trucking a little bit. And I look down and go, great, wow, 8 and change pace. She's starting to break a little bit on me. I'm just going to keep up the pace. So I followed her probably for anywhere between, we'll say, 2 and 3 miles. Never actually caught up to her, but I actually started gaining a lot of that distance back. And, right before she turned off the loop, I was running we'll say 750 pace mile. So it was flying for me. And this is including the uphills, the downhills, the flats. So I finished this loop. It's beautiful. I absolutely had a blast. I felt really good. I also realized as I checked my watch and my heart rate that I was freaking running in the red zone. I was just super pumped, super excited. Maybe not the best place to put yourself on your first run back. Hindsight is 2020. It always is. But I really wanted to run. I really wanted to push and see how I felt. Because ultimately, if it was shitty, then I would probably stop and be like, you know what? I'm not doing any other run outdoors. I'm going to keep training on the treadmill. So, and just I want to preface this too. The run, I ran in a pair of Ultras, which tend to be my favorite pair of running branded shoes. And these probably only had like 5 or 10 miles on them max. And I think some of them were actually indoor treadmill runs pre-injury. So I laced them up and then I did this run. Hey, we're giving you a short break here where you can head down to the show notes or lifestylelocker.com and join our tribe of human-powered life heroes. You'll be the first to know about new shows, events, product launches, affiliate specials, and more. And now, back to the show. So that evening, I get home, and I'm starting to feel really sore. Really freaking sore. I'm like, I only did 6 miles. I only did 6 freaking miles. So I feel really sore. The next day, Saturday, holy crap, I felt like I ran 100 miles the day before. I was freaking sore. I couldn't bend down well, couldn't stand up well, couldn't walk with a normal gait. I felt kind of funny. It was almost comical. And, I knew my wife was probably thinking, did he really just run 6 miles? did he really just run 6? Is that it? And yeah, no, I only ran 6 miles because I have not done any of this outdoor training and pushing myself to that, high speed, just above an 8-minute mile for this pace as a first run was pretty maybe not so smart. So the soreness still lasted. I'm recording this right now. It's a Tuesday, right after the Friday, and I am still sore today. So Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, seeing patients and laughing as I had to bend down to adjust people, realizing how sore I was. And the crazy thing is I kind of enjoy the soreness. I enjoy feeling that I did something, though I should probably have taken it a little bit lighter. So I decided to change things up today. I decided after taking my dog for just shy of a 2-mile ruck with about 45 pounds on my back, get home, change, read, do some little bit of work. I decided I'm going for my run now. I'm going to do another outdoor run. I think I'm going to do anywhere between 2 and 4 miles. I have a mental map in my head. There's going to be some hills. It's going to be some flats. It's not going to be incredibly intense. So I decide to actually run in my Merrell barefoot shoes. And for those of you who've seen them, these are called the Vapor Gloves. They're like, there's nothing to these things. I mean, you can crush them into a little ball in your hands. And the reason I decided to run outdoors in these, I've been primarily training on the treadmill with them recently, is in reading the new book, Born to Run, the second one, not the first one. The first one was awesome. They talk about running barefoot and running fast and running all of these different things and certain cadences. So I decided that I'm going to do this outside. I have not run in a barefoot sneaker on pavement in a long freaking time. But I had to do it because I needed to feel my ankle. I needed to feel all my muscles. I need to feel the ground underneath my feet, not have a cushion. And ultimately, by doing this, it's going to make me land softer on the ground. It's going to make me be more conscious of my uphills and downhills on how much I can pace myself, how much I can push myself, where I have to land with my feet. So when I do stack in some cushion under my feet again, that I'm not going to be causing damage, right? So the book Born to Run is definitely giving me a little bit of mental motivation and education on running again, because I'll tell you what, after running thousands and thousands of miles over the past 5 to 6 years, it's easy to get lazy and complacent, as it is in many things in life. When you get used to doing certain things, it just becomes habit, and then the habit allows for complacency, and complacency allows for problems, aka injuries, and aka now, right? Not aka, but talking about that present time consciousness is super, super powerful. So get back from my run today. I actually feel absolutely amazing. I was able to push through some of that soreness, and I think this is the way I'm going to be training for a little while until I start to build some distance. I believe I can definitely even run a marathon in these barefoot shoes on the street, and I may end up doing that in a matter of weeks. We'll see how fast my training escalates. I know I've been told by smart people to maybe not push that hard. I just have this little demon in my ear saying, you can do it, just keep going, you can do it. And I listen to both at the same time. Sometimes that little demon does win. So how do I relate this and help you relate this to yourself and what you may be going through or doing in life right now? Is certain things you plan for sometimes fall apart, and that's okay. You have to use that as an opportunity to pay attention and say, what, why, how, when, all of these questions about what may have happened. And it also gives you the opportunity to pivot, to shift, because you can plan to do all these things, and if the universe has other ideas, I'll tell you what, they're not going to happen. So we're all going through this world at a similar pace. We all have the same 24 hours in a day that I can actually be aware of, even though I do believe we are quantum beings sitting inside these human body suits. We can make some huge changes by paying attention, and that awareness and the present time consciousness and stepping back and going, okay, I'll listen, versus, as I talk to my patients about this, like giving that New York middle finger and just charging through. The best thing to do is to listen. I've been actually doing that so much over the past few months that it's a little more challenging, but it's actually becoming it's even becoming a little bit easier, I should say. And I tell you what, it's well worth it. So that present time consciousness, listen to your body, listen to your mind. And I'll tell you what's been really cool that I've been enjoying is sitting down in the morning and in the evening sometimes in meditation, just being quiet. And I'll tell you what, some really, really, really cool ideas, really cool things show up in your mind's eye when you're being quiet. And it's I've had some really great ideas. We're launching some really new cool stuff in our practice. And I can tell you that this whole journey, from the injury to where I am today to the practice pivot where we are going in the future is really, really powerful. And I'm learning a ton. I'm learning so much about myself as I go on this journey. And I want to also let you know, as we go forward in this journey, the first season, I can't tell you exactly when. It's going to be ending very shortly. We have one more guest that I'm really working on getting on the Human Powered Life, but our first season is going to come to an end. There will be a break. Doesn't mean I'm going away. You'll still get emails from me. We're just going to take a break from recording for a while so we can all start to implement everything we've learned over almost 50 episodes of the Human Powered Life podcast, not to mention the hundreds of episodes that are in Lifestyle Locker Radio. So if you're missing me, if you're missing the show, you have a lot to catch up on unless you have listened to every single thing, and I hope some of you have. And for those of you who haven't, go and scroll through our list. The guests have been amazing over the years. I've learned so much personally, and I continue to learn so much. So stay tuned. I will let you know when we get to that last episode of the season. I'm pumped. Hopefully our guest says yes and has the time to do it over the next couple of weeks, because our focus is going to shift to growing the practice and the new things we'll be doing in practice, and hopefully being able to connect all of you to the practice and different ways we're going to be able to help people both virtually and in person. So Dr. Josh Handt, I want to thank you for being here for this episode of the Human Powered Life podcast. Have a beautiful day, evening, and or night from wherever you're listening and watching. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Human Powered Life podcast. Make sure to head over to lifestylelocker.com to check out all the details on the show and to watch part 2 of this episode, which is only in video format. We also have this audio portion in video format if you want. Once again, I'm your host, Dr. Josh Handt, for the Human Powered Life podcast, and I'm looking forward to staying connected with you as a Human Powered Life hero. Remember to join the tribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.